Let's wait for, okay, it says that we're live. Hi, friends. I think
Hi.
maybe just Amanda Sue for now, but I'll see the rest of you later. Hold on just a second. So today Bonnie is in the hot seat. We are going to talk about SEO. We're going to talk about keyword research. We're just going through some of the things that she's working on and seeing if we can kind of figure some of the stuff out that she wants to release on her blog and how we can make that optimized with the SEO as best as possible. So, Bonnie, tell me a little bit about the things that you're wanting to write, the things that are coming up for you.
Okay, I'm planning on releasing a new Skillshare class within sometime over the next week, and it's going to be part of a series on acrylic painting. And the title of the class that I'm releasing now is called Let's Play with Acrylic Paints, Part 1, Tools and Materials. So I did a little bit of SEO or of keyword research. I don't know how well I did, but I did do a little bit and when I was planning the title, and I just want to make sure that I do it all right when I do a blog post to market and announce my class, that I get the right tags in there, that I get the right words within the blog post. And then beyond that, I want to have some more blog posts around this same issue.
Mhm.
So I'm still a little confused with like keywords, and I know you're not supposed to use the same ones over and over. So say I've got 5 blog posts, they're all kind of the same issue. I just want to be able to kind of make an SEO plan and a marketing plan that makes sense and that I can track and that works. So
That makes
there you
sense.
go. Okay.
So, I know you said one of the first things that you were thinking about writing on is paints. So, did
Yes.
you already kind of think about what it is that you want to write, or are you kind of still unsure and you want to build your strategy around what we find for keyword research?
E. Okay. Maybe can you ask me that again? I'm not. My brain is kind of.
So, did you already come up with like the title and kind of an outline of what you want to write as far as paints go? Or are you just like building it based on what we do today?
I'm building it based on what we do today. And
Okay.
in the past, what I had done is I took like the class description and I just used that as a blog post. And you and I talked about that. Not
Mhm.
really optimal. I mean, it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
So I want a better, moving forward with my classes, I want to have a better strategy for doing that. And whether it's each section, like we talked about, like paints, glazes, and mediums, each section of my class, or it's the whole class, or both.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
I can see you doing, because I know you gave me a couple that you want to potentially write posts about. So I
uh-huh.
can see you doing several posts going into this one class since it's a beginner class. I think that could be a good strategy. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if I can remember how to do it. It's been only a month and I forget. So let's see. We should see Google now. And the first one that you had, it's paints. But what I'm wondering is if you have any kind of idea of what you want to talk about when it comes to paints.
Okay.
So are you thinking about like what acrylic paints to buy or what?
It's what acrylic paints to buy, um, how to put together a basic toolkit when you're starting from square one and you're going into the art store. How do you know what to buy? And what's the difference in
Okay.
that are available?
So when I type in what acrylic paints to buy, because that's probably what I would maybe type in,
Okay.
it shows 10 searches a month, which is kind of low. And then it shows that the competition is 0.64, which is actually kind of high. You probably want the competition to be like zero point 0.5 and under. So if I click on this though, then we'll come up with some other search results on the side here, and you can kind of look and see if there's something that's maybe better.
Okay.
So for instance, acrylic paint color mixing guide. This one has 110 searches, so the search volume is a little bit better, but the competition is still kind of high. So
Okay.
what you can do when you're kind of thinking about what you're going to write and you're doing this keyword research is you can kind of find something that's maybe a little bit better than what you had before. So you can have, what acrylic paints to buy, and then next you might say, well, okay, this one, acrylic paint color mixing guide, seems like it's just a little bit better because more people are searching for it. So the first one is only 10 people per month or 10 searches per month, whereas this one is 110 per month. So
Okay.
you know that this one is better. And then you can also, something that I also like to do is I like to go to Pinterest and search there and go to YouTube and search there if you're planning on doing any kind of like YouTube video or anything like that. But definitely do. So what you can see all of my things about cavities. What acrylic paints to buy. There we go.
Okay. Can I ask you one quick question before I
Sure.
forget?
Sure.
When we were looking at that last page and the keyword phrase that you picked out, or that we were talking about, the acrylic paint color mixing guide, that's
Mhm.
not exactly relevant. So I should pay attention to that, like to what I wanted to write about. That makes a difference,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Okay.
So, I mean, it can change what you're going to write if you cannot find anything at all for what you originally had in mind, because you do want to make sure that you are doing something that people are searching. If they're not searching it at all, any of the things, and it might be like just changing words around. So I put in what acrylic paints to buy, but you might change this around so that it's worded in a different way and you might find a better search.
Okay.
But if you are like, well, I really think I want to write about this, but I'm not too sure, you can come and look and see what other things are over here. And if there's something that grabs your eye that it's not too bad as far as like the search volume, it's not too bad as far as the competition, and you're like, well, I could write about that, then go ahead and just write that down. And you may not end up writing about this at all. You may write about it later. And you
Okay.
can also look down here too. There's some other stuff here. So like best acrylic paintbrushes. Well, that one has a pretty good search volume, but the competition again is pretty high. So when it's one, that means it's too high. Acrylic paint color mixing recipes. Now, this one is actually really good as far as the search volume and as far as the competition goes. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I would write down. I have like lists and lists and lists of stuff. I write it down and then, I may not ever write it, or I may come back later, or it may be the thing that I write right now. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of what you are kind of thinking will help the people where they're at as far as going into your class. And again, like I said, you might have to like change words around. So you might have to put in here, buy acrylic paints. So here, buy acrylic paint is 210 per month, but the competition again is high. And
Mm-hmm.
then that's where going into Pinterest and seeing, so I put what acrylic paints to buy, you'll see here, okay, how to choose the right acrylic paint. So then you can like go back and type that in. So it's just a matter of what was it? I forgot.
I think
How
it's
to
time.
choose the right acrylic paint. So how to choose the right acrylic paint. So when I do that, it's actually showing me a search of 0. So there's no people searching this. The competition is 0, but you can still put it in and see what's coming up over here and see if there's anything here. So necessary acrylic paint colors for beginners. This has a search result of 40 per month. I mean, like a search volume of 40 per month, and the competition is low. So this could be the one that you do, even though it's kind of on the low side. You still have low competition, so not many people are like typing up blog posts about this specific thing. So
Mm-hmm.
you could be the person who you write up a great blog post on this, and then that's what gets found. And when you come over here and you're looking at things, you can see if there's something else maybe that is kind of more of what you're thinking, and start to build your strategy from there. Does that make sense?
Yes. So you're just looking at like what the titles of these pins are, correct?
Yeah, so for Pinterest, I just start typing in, something that I would think that people are searching. So this is the same original search that we typed in. So what acrylic paints to buy was the very first thing that we typed in. And
Hmm.
then, we can go from there. So we could put in here that same, like, how to choose the right acrylic paints. Acrylic paints, and see what comes up then. And you can start to see, kind of what people are doing too, so that it's not like to get, sad that somebody else has already written a post on it or anything like that. It's kind of a search for opportunities where maybe you can do something better, or you can see kind of what people have put out there, and you can write a post from your perspective. So that's basically, so like this one right here, how to choose the right acrylic paint for your craft project. Well, that's something that shows up with this, but maybe you're not talking about craft projects at all, which I know, you talk more to creating like fine art.
Hmm.
So you can kind of fill in the gap where people are, maybe searching for this. Some people actually might really want for fine art rather than just for craft projects. So you could write a post and that would show up with this search term on Pinterest. And then it's also something, well, actually, this one is not good for over here, but you would look at both places and kind of evaluate.
Gotcha.
So for the first one with paint, something like this, necessary acrylic paint colors for beginners, you could do like 10 necessary acrylic paint colors for beginners. Or you could even, come back in here and see if you can like change these words a little bit. So acrylic paint colors for beginners. Let's try that. Acrylic paint colors for beginners. So right here it's showing up. It says 20 searches per month. The competition is a little bit high. Acrylic paint colors, it has a better search, as far as the volume goes, but then the competition is very high. So you
Hmm.
have to think, because when you get into like you're just talking about paints or you're just talking about supplies, you're going to be competing with people who are like the suppliers of this stuff.
Hmm.
So you don't want to get something where it's really high competition here, even though the search volume is pretty good, because what will happen is your post will get buried below all of the posts that are about, golden paints or
Yeah.
whatever, large manufacturer of paints. You'll get buried beneath all of that. So you want to also think about what pain point you're solving. So, acrylic paint colors for beginners, this would be a post that's specific about what colors you should be choosing as a beginner. And so that would be an okay post to do, but you still have quite a bit of competition here. So that would be when I would go to Pinterest and see, again, how is it lining up? I would look over here and see how is it lining up? What, looks maybe like it would be a different search term that might be better. Let me
Okay.
see if anybody is saying over here. Okay, Melissa says it seems like a big shift in thinking, going from I want to write about X versus picking what you write about based on the things that people are searching for. Yeah, so that's the thing about when you're writing blog posts for people for their pain points or for what it is that they are searching for, because you're trying to solve a problem and you're trying to help them with wherever they're at. So it's kind of flipping on, well, this is something that I want to write about. And you don't have to make it boring. You can still make it fun. But it's in turn, like thinking about what are they needing and where are they at right now. So I hope that helps, Melissa. So, Bonnie, for paints, do you kind of have an idea of what you might do there, or are you still kind of
Yeah.
unsure?
Yeah, I do. And I think it's good. This is kind of helping me see sort of the, um, like how to plan out a post, like have kind of a general
Mhm.
idea, then look at your keywords to sort of refine and find a place that is solving the questions that people are looking for and what you wanted to write and finding the perfect spot, that's going to
Yeah.
work well.
Yeah, the sweet spot. This one would be good right here. How to start painting for beginners. 70 searches per month, and the competition is very low. So that's something, whenever I'm searching, I always look for something like that. I just scroll down this anyways, and I see, what shows up because there could be something here that's like gold, that I want to do for the future. So there was another one, painting with 3 colors. So you could later on do a post where you're talking about painting with only 3 colors.
I actually have been thinking about that. So
Oh,
that's
yay. That's perfect. So that, it's 40 searches, and then the competition is pretty low there too. Acrylic painting blog. That one is kind of a generic term, so I don't think that that would be really good. How to mix acrylic paint with water. Now, that's something that would be for beginners. That's very specific. There's 30 searches per month, and the competition is very low. So that's something that you could probably get ranked for on Google.
now, are you like for these keywords that we're looking at right now, would you recommend that being the exact title of the blog post? The one that
It's
you pick?
it's not necessary if you're doing all of the other things that you need to do to get the keyword ranked on Google. So when you're looking at Yoast, when you're in your blog and you're looking at Yoast, if you have Yoast go green. So most people who use Yoast will know what I mean when I say that. So if you get it to go green and it's not red or orange, then you can leave the title whatever you want. Like you could skip that one thing. But like it depends really on what it is that you're doing. So your whole strategy. So, I mean, would it be best if you put it in the title? Yes. If you can put it in the title and you feel like it will be an okay title and it's not going to be like too um like robotic or anything, then go ahead and use that. Um, if you are using YouTube as a part of your strategy, from everything that I've heard and everything that I've done, when I've gone back and changed my titles to reflect my tags on YouTube, and then, like married that with my blog post, that is the best situation. So I would say that it just really depends on what's most important to you. If it's more important for you to sound like a real human being, if it's, kind of robotic like I was saying, then go ahead and just title it something that has some of those keywords in the title.
Okay.
So there was another one here. I would definitely write these ones down. How to mix acrylic paint with water would be one. And painting with 3 colors. What were the other ones? Okay, that looks good for paint. Then you had glazes. So for me, glazes is something that I have not used as a beginning acrylic painter. So if I were searching glazes, I would be like, do I need glazes to paint with acrylics? So that would be where I would start. So you have to kind of think in this beginner mindset. So do I need glazes to paint? And it might show up with nothing, but it's a starting place. So do I need glaze to paint with acrylic? I don't know why we need acrylic paintings there, but let's see. How to glaze a finished acrylic painting. So that's 40 per month with a low competition. Let's see. How to make a glaze from acrylic paint that doesn't have anything on there. Over here, acrylic painting techniques layering. How to fix acrylic paint mistakes. These are some that are not about glazes, but when you're, looking for them, I mean, they're like showing up as great searches. So, how to glaze a finished acrylic painting. So, that one is about glaze, and that could be a good one to do. Glazing acrylic painting YouTube. So, people are searching, they want to see a YouTube video. They're like, please show me on YouTube. So, that's obvious from here. So, I mean, there's not as much with this particular search. Is there something that you think maybe people would be searching that we could try in here?
Um, what glazes and mediums should I use with acrylic paint? I don't know.
I'm just going to do what glazes should I use with acrylic paint. And then that one again was 0, but let's see what comes up over here. So this same one, how to glaze a finished acrylic painting. How to make acrylic paint glaze. So it's pretty much the same ones. How to use Liquitex glazing medium.
I was going to say how to use glazing medium would be probably a good one.
So we can search that one.
Or do I need, what did you say at the beginning? Do I need glazing medium or something?
Yeah, that's what I said at the beginning. Because I've never used glaze before. So as a like beginner, I would think like, okay, I heard this word glaze.
Yeah, or even like what is glazing medium?
Right.
Paint
Yeah.
paint or
so let's see. What is glazing medium? So what is glazing medium? That one is good. What is glazing medium used for? Also good. So let's just go to the first one and see what happens over here. So how to use acrylic gloss medium. That one's pretty good. I mean, it's still kind of low. You might want to have like a higher search, but if you're putting out several blog posts per month and they all have, 90, 100, and you're actually ranking for that and people are actually clicking, then, over time, you're going to have a lot of people coming to your website. Let me see if anybody has any questions over here. Amanda Sue says, agreed. I was watching someone talk about keyword searches in YouTube, and they were talking about finding keywords for naming your video. And I knew immediately that I would want to, or what I would want to use it for. Finding a topic to post about. So cool. Yeah, that's what I do all the time. I mean, I actually don't ever just think of an idea. Well, I mean, I do. But then I personally go and I'm like, is this going to be beneficial for me? Because I don't really want to waste my time at this point in my business where blogging is such, for me, it takes a lot of time to do. And so I want to be leveraging the time that I'm using to write this blog post. Whereas in the past, I was not thinking about the titles. I was not thinking about, how does this work with keywords and stuff? And I was doing it for other people, but I wasn't doing it for myself. Now my time is precious. So I want to use my time as much as possible so that way I can really get the most results. So let's see what else is here. Acrylic medium Michaels, that is very high competition. So don't use that one. Let's see here. How to make acrylic paint opaque. So that one is decent. And then, basically this every single time you look at this, it's going from the highest search down to the lowest search. So you can, like stop when you get down to the tens. And I probably would not focus on these that are like only 10 searches per month. Okay. I would really, try to get more than that. So do you have one there for glazing medium?
I thought that one that we just saw, like what is glazing medium? Because it's really kind of what I want, just an introduction for people who like have no clue, like you were, just starting out and you don't know what to buy. So what is it?
Yeah. So this one, what is glazing medium? 50 searches per month. The competition is pretty low.
You think that's enough?
I mean, that's what I'm saying is right now, I think it would benefit you to just go ahead and do these lower searches. And if
Mm.
you're trying to do like 2 or 3 posts a month, eventually it will start to like have that compound effect
Right.
because, over time, you're going to have these things that you've written that are on your blog already, and you should still be sharing them and making sure that you're doing whatever you can to get it out there still, like through Pinterest and through other strategies. But it will eventually start where like everybody is going to your website because you're ranked for these things and they're going to see you as an authority on this specific thing that you're talking about. So, you would be the person to go to learn acrylic paints. So that is the goal. And, while you look at this like, oh, it's only 50 searches per month at first, that's only one blog post.
Right. And then that blog post will link to
Your
not only
Skillshare
my
class.
Skillshare class, but it'll also link to the other related blog posts that I've written that are also linked to that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So,
So you can link them in the post, and that's an SEO thing that you should be doing is linking to other blog posts within the post. Only like 2 probably per
okay.
post. You don't want to get too crazy with that. And then you also it's good for you to link outside of your website. So if
Okay.
you're linking to Skillshare, that would fulfill that. If you're linking to a specific glazing medium, maybe you could do like affiliates with Amazon where you're getting like a little bit money back from people clicking on that and ordering that item. So that's another way. For a person like Melissa, you can link to specific items within your shop, your Stampin' Up shop. So thinking about, where you can kind of link here and there, you want to make sure that you have one link that's outgoing at least, and you want to have 2 links that are inbound, which are like within your website. So that's pretty much what you want to do to kind of fulfill that SEO requirement. Let's see what's going on over here. All right. Melissa says, I wish there was a keywords everywhere function for Pinterest. If using Pinterest to evaluate keywords, what suggestions do you have for using Pinterest in this way? For me, I just go and I am looking to see what is showing up here in the search at the top. So I would just do, like keyword keyword research, and then put that in there and see what shows up here. So keyword research, keyword tools, keyword research SEO, keyword research tips, keyword research how to use. So these are the things that people are searching for right here. It doesn't show you like how many people are searching. It doesn't show you, how much or what the competition is or anything like that, but you still know that people are searching these things. So then you can go and build kind of a strategy from what you find. So keyword research SEO, I click on that, and then I would see, what's showing up here. And it would help me to come up with ideas of what to write. And it could be, like I could click on this and go and look at it and be like, this is a horrible blog post. They're not really answering any questions. And then try to make sure that my blog post is really informative. It really answers the question and solves the problem for people. And when people see that, when they click on your Pinterest pin, they're going to be more likely to repin it, to share that post with people. And that can make your pin really just like explode as far as people going to your website and then it's showing up here at the top on Pinterest. I hope that helps.
Awesome.
So you have top coats. Another one. I don't know. Do I need to use a top coat?
Yeah.
Do I need to use a top coat? Whoops. Top
Or
coat
varnish.
or varnish? Okay. I don't know why it says does, but
Does I need?
does I need? Let's see. Do I need to use a top coat or a varnish? So let's see here. This may not be specific enough.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. Because it's not for acrylics, it's like really giving you a lot of like home improvement, it looks like.
Yeah. Or
Stuff.
like something like, how should I seal my acrylic painting, or um, how should I finish my acrylic painting, or something like that?
How to seal my
Protect.
acrylic
What would you
painting.
say?
Well, this one is showing 0, so
Yeah.
maybe not that, but let's see. This one here, how to seal acrylic paint on wood. It's great. Search volume. The competition is a little steep, but you could still maybe do this. And I would say, like, the more that you're writing and the more that Google recognizes that you are an authority basically on acrylic paint, then you could start trying to do these ones.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like the more SEO juice that your website has, the more that you can kind of start leveraging things where it might be more competitive. So, how to make acrylic paint look glossy. I don't know if that's what you were thinking about writing about, but that's one here that is a good search. How
There's a good one in the
to
question here. Do I have to varnish my acrylic painting?
do I have to
See that one?
do I have to varnish my acrylic painting? The other thing that I like to do is look at what is coming up here. Let's see. How to seal acrylic painting, or how to seal an acrylic painting.
Hmm.
So that one is great volume. Competition is kind of steep, but like I said, you can save that for later. Varnish for acrylic paint on wood. That's kind of competitive. How to seal an acrylic painting. Let's see. It seems like the same ones are showing up that are the same ones that are good.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these might be harder. You might have to really kind of spend quite a bit of time searching for it. And then you might evaluate, is this really worth my time? I wouldn't like go down this SEO, researching rabbit hole where you're spending 5 hours just on research and then, you still have to write the blog post. I would,
Yeah.
balance, like set a timer or tell yourself like, I'm only going to spend this much time doing this. And then whatever comes out, like, I'm just going to run with that idea and see how it does. But like I said over here, I often will look at what people are doing over here. So this is for that specific uh, search term that I put in here, and it says 3 reasons why artists furnish their work and why some artists don't. So that can give me an idea, and then I can actually click and I can see what this person is writing for blog posts as well. So that's something that I do a lot. So just go and I would look and see. So he's got a section here on acrylic painting. So I could go and see what is here. So free PDF download, beginner's guide to acrylics. Let's see, acrylic study or acrylic still life study of a fish using acrylic glazing techniques. And then, it looks like he's utilizing YouTube here. So that could give you ideas on what to do on YouTube. And you can go check out his channel. So that's something else that I do. Anytime I'm doing any kind of research, I am like, let's see what doors open. And really just kind of exploring and seeing what comes up and then deciding on which things I feel like are best for me to go ahead and do. Because sometimes, something may come up and it may be a really great search term, but you may not feel like that's something that you can do right now. So that's why I prefer to have more ideas than less ideas. So I often will go and just like kind of look, scroll through, see what they're writing about, kind of look and see if there's anything here that will help me when I'm planning out my stuff.
Okay.
Let's see what we have over here. No other questions right now. How are you feeling, Bonnie?
Good. Good. I just I am ready to get going. And now I'm like, now we're going into these sections of my class, and I'm wondering if I picked the right things to do in my class. Ah. But
No, no, don't even worry about that
okay.
because your class is on a different platform that has its own traffic. So we're talking about Skillshare. For those who don't know, she has a Skillshare class that she's releasing hopefully by the end of this week, and she has tried to make this for beginners. So you're, talking about those beginning topics and things that you've chosen that you want them to know as they're beginning. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean that, you've done it wrong. I personally don't know, varnishes and glazes and stuff like that, but that's because I don't have that experience. So you are going to, in that class, tell me why I might need those things. And then I would be going to Google and searching. But you will have some people who maybe they heard about it already and they're like, well, I don't know what that thing does. So I want to know what that thing does. And then they'll go to your blog, they'll read your post, and they'll be like, cool, like, okay, I think that this is something that I maybe should start using. And then they'll see that you have a class for beginners and they'll go and check it out and they'll see what other classes you have as well. So I would make sure when you do your call to action in the blog post that you are telling them, I have more than one class. I have several classes on Skillshare that are all centered around beginning, painting techniques for acrylics and letting people know that you're building this out to be something bigger so they can go to this one place and get a lot of resources. And your blog post or whatever your blog as a whole is kind of just an entry point to getting them to your Skillshare class to learn in that way.
Okay.
So I wouldn't think that you're making the wrong mistakes. No, I wouldn't say that at all. I think that your class is great. You just need to figure out ways to get people to it is all.
Oh, I do have a question about these keywords. And now these are
Okay.
considered long tail keywords, correct?
Yes.
That's something I've kind of struggled with understanding the difference between just a regular keyword and a long tail keyword. I know long tail keywords are better and more specific. And then when I use these long tail keywords, like say how to make acrylic paint look glossy. Say if I was using that as the title of my blog post, then
Mm-hmm.
when I make my images and I put the alt tags on them within
Mm-hmm.
WordPress, do I put dashes or anything between the words, or do I write it out like a full question, like just like
So
here?
the title of the image, when you save it on your computer, needs to have dashes in between. So when
Okay.
you're saving it from Photoshop or when you're saving it from Illustrator or when you're saving it from Canva, you would put, how to make acrylic paint look glossy with dashes between each word
Okay.
because Google cannot read images. So if you have images on your website, basically to Google bots, it looks like a big box. But you're telling in the title, like the actual file title, you're saying, this is what this is. And then when you go to write the alt tag was originally for people who cannot see to have it read out to them what is contained within the picture. So
Hmm.
you want to make sure that you're still, kind of saying what's related to the picture. So you don't want to have like a picture of like a dog and then have something completely different about acrylic paints if they are not, going together. So you
Okay.
want it to be kind of related, but you just want to, in the alt tag, you want to write sentences with no dashes and you just want to explain what the post is about, what the picture is about, and that is the information that will be pulled into Pinterest.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that you have your keywords in there so that on Pinterest, it will show up.
Okay.
And then as far as like long tail keywords and short tail keywords right here, if you look at acrylic, I just put in this short word, one word, acrylic. And if I hit enter, you're going to see that there's a gazillion monthly searches. It's just like a lot. So this is something that you could probably never be ranked for because so many people have already ranked for it. So,
Hmm.
and people are searching for it and it's really competitive. So if you look here, you can see the things that are showing up at the top are going to be these really large companies that have used this word. And I mean, it's just impossible. So you want to make sure that you're using longer tail keyword phrases that people, would be searching for still, but it's not going to be so competitive and it's not going to have so many searches. I mean, you would probably be on like the millionth page here.
Yeah.
People usually don't go past like page 2.
Hmm. Okay.
Let's see if there's anything over here. Nope, nothing. Do you have any other questions for me about the keyword research? Anything
Um,
else about these blog posts that you're wanting to put out?
um, I I think I think you've answered a lot of my questions. I mean, I feel
I'm
confident
gonna
to
stop sharing. There we
start,
go.
start writing some posts. And so you want to make sure you get that. If you use whatever you use for your title, you try to get that into your blog somewhere, that exact phrase, get it in your
Yes.
alt tags, get a couple of links within your website, one outgoing link if
Mm-hmm.
you can, um, and make sure that your images, you have a pinnable image, at least one.
Mm-hmm.
Something else we talked about. So I'm working on that. That's really helpful, I think, to when you're planning, because I've been working a lot with Tailwind and stuff, as you know, and I'm stuck. It's like, well, I've already pinned that to everything. But if I have 6 different pins with
Mm-hmm.
6 different keywords for that one blog post, it just gives me a lot more marketing content
Yes.
to
Yeah.
use.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with repinning the same pin to the same board. You can do that. I just wouldn't pin it like over and over and over again, the same pin. I would make
Yeah.
it a variety. So I used to do it with Board Booster. When I had Board Booster, I would have my pins looping and they would be going to the same board. And that's something that's actually like Amanda Sue knows more than I do about this, but there's a looping feature coming to Tailwind. And I imagine it's going to do the same thing. It's
Okay.
going to like loop your pens where it's going to recycle them and they could go potentially to the same board depending on how Tailwind sets it up. So I did that in the past and there's nothing wrong with that. You could go back and delete the old pins if you wanted to. I mean, I don't. If I pin to the same board, I just make sure I have a variety.
Yeah. Well, I like to make things particularly difficult for myself.
So we all do.
So I like to make it as hard as possible. Why pin the same thing over again if you could spend hours making a new one?
Well, I mean, I would say, yeah, that's a good strategy to have a few,
Uh,
but you don't have to make, a big amount of them where it's like, taking all your time.
okay.
But, if you have old posts that you really want to kind of refresh and get them out there again, you can try another pen and that'll look kind of fresh and new to some people who follow you anyways. And they probably will not know, if they haven't been to your blog in a while, they probably will not know that you're repinning old content anyways,
Right.
unless
Right.
you have your dates on your blog. I
Mhm.
don't. Or maybe I do now, but I took them off for a long time because I was inconsistent. So I took off the dates for a long time. And I think I recently put them back on, but if you take that off, then people aren't going to know that it's old post.
Yeah. And only sometimes that relevant anyway, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, if it's good content and it's like, you can go back to this post again and again for years and years and years, then who cares? I mean, it's
Hmm.
still relevant. That's all that matters.
Hmm.
Still answers the question. That's what matters. So let me just look and see
Okay.
if there's any last questions over here. Let's see. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so Melissa has some questions. Melissa says, what I'm realizing is I'm using product names for some of my keywords, but in Google and YouTube, the volume is basically non existent. These search options seem to have better keywords for techniques. It can be true, yeah. I mean, it depends. So Stampin' Up! Has some specific things, and it's kind of like until people have made the content, there may not be any searches. So, like if it's a brand new ink pad, for instance, that came out, I mean, people may not be searching for it yet because they don't know that it exists because it just came out. But if you are kind of before the trend, you could still see a great result from doing content based around something that has a very specific name if it takes off. So you kind of run the risk of doing something and then it maybe potentially not taking off. But what I would say for you, Melissa, is to have kind of like a mix of things. So you going ahead and doing some things based on techniques, but then also doing some things based on specific products and making sure that you're kind of doing both. Are these good keywords as far as balancing volume and competition? Sponging techniques, yes, it says 140 searches per month, and then the competition is 0.16. The dry embossing is 170 per month, and the competition is 0.25. All of these sound good. Now, what I was saying about your YouTube, Melissa, the other day, I think I tagged you in a comment or something, is that your YouTube is fairly large. Like you have 5,000 people who are subscribed to you. So that means that you can utilize a higher search volume on YouTube itself. Your blog may not have as much traffic, so you could use these where it has like 170 per month, 140 per month, 90 per month. You could do that on your blog, but your YouTube strategy might be a little bit different because you have a larger following there. So you might want to use search terms that are higher searched. When using Pinterest, product names do not or do show up in searches quite a lot, and techniques do too. I'm thinking I should use techniques for keywords, but then product names and the alt descriptions. You could try it, test it out, see what happens. You never know until you try. And it probably would take a little bit of time to see the results of that, like a couple of months, but you could give it a try and see what happens. I just left 4 comments because it only gives me 200 characters at a time. That's okay. No worries about that. I'm glad you asked your questions. So I think we've kind of been here for an hour, maybe not quite, but I think we'll stop here for today. If you ladies have any other questions, please go ahead and put them into the Creative Biz U members only Facebook group and tag me and let me know what your questions are. Thank you, Bonnie, for being here and being the guinea pig. And I'm hopeful that this will help you and that you'll be able to build a good strategy around this class that you're hoping to release this week. And let us know when you released it. Put it in both groups. So put it in the free Facebook group, the Creative Genius Squad, and then also in Creative Biz U, and let people know.
Absolutely.
All righty. Oh, go ahead.
If anybody is watching this now and sees the class, please, if you have any questions, give me feedback. I want to hear what you need and what works and what doesn't and all those good things.
I will give you feedback and I will ask you all the questions. You know me. All right, ladies, I will see you. I have to look at my calendar when the next call is, but I will see you soon.
Thank
you. You're welcome.
Everyone. Bye.
You guys have a great day.